Hey YouTubers, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video response here to Mrfartboy79's thread that he just put up last day or so. 8 pretty good questions, so as always, just want to put my 2 cents in and you guys let me know what you think. Question number 1 was, are your musical tastes slash collection excuse me, more mainstream or indie or what, and is that important? Kind of your thoughts on that. I tend to think that my collection is more mainstream, but what I've found is sometimes a lot of things that I think are mainstream are not. Because I think I do a pretty good job, if you can call it a job, of kind of crossing genres. So I may have someone that completely gets my classic rock love and a lot of the things that I have, and excuse me, all that seems very mainstream. But then if I start showing them some of the stuff I have from my 80s R&B collection, it's a lot of bands that they think, no, I'd never heard of, or that type of thing. And I'm sitting there thinking, I thought that was pretty mainstream too. So in my opinion, I feel a lot of my stuff is mainstream, but that's not the feedback that I get all the time. In terms of if that's important or not, if I remember correctly, Mr. Fartboy mentioned something about, is it seen as a bad thing, or should your collection have more obscure things in it and stuff like that? I think all that has nothing to do with nothing. I think your collection should have one thing in it, and that is what makes you happy that it's your collection. So if that's all obscure stuff that's just wild, crazy, and out there, that's exactly what your collection should have. If it's mainstream pop, top 40 stuff is what makes you happy when it comes to listening to music and owning music and all of that, that is exactly what you should have and nothing else. So, I feel that I have a really open mind towards a lot of different genres and things of that nature. So, I'm really open to anything coming into my collection, but nothing comes in just for the sake of being mainstream or being obscure. It's because I like it, I want it, I want to listen to it, and I want to listen to it again and again and again, and most importantly, I want to listen to it on vinyl. So that's kind of my general thoughts on that. Only collect what makes you happy, period. Question 2, what do you think will happen to the vinyl community? Will it grow, evolve, or fizzle out? Excuse me. I think we're seeing the true nature of the vinyl community now. I think a year or so ago when it first popped off, maybe it was a little bit longer than that, but somewhere, you guys remember that time period, it just got insane. I mean, it became dang near a part-time job trying to keep up with responses, especially when all those threads started popping up. It was like, if I don't answer these 2 threads today, there's going to be 3 more when I get home tomorrow, and I'm going to have 5 I have to do, and then you get worried about, it was just like any other new thing. It was so exciting, had so much energy. It kind of allowed itself to fizzle and kind of get to where it's at right now, to where I think we're all getting comfortable putting up a video every week or 2, a thread here, a thread there. So I kind of think what we're seeing right now is really the true cruising, if you will, cruising zone for the vinyl community. And I think this is kind of where we'll stay for quite some time. So that's my thoughts on that. Question number 3, whose collection do you admire most? Not trying to create competitiveness, but just whose collection is more your taste. I kind of thought of maybe a little bit of a different, I took a little bit of a different approach to that question, and the way I thought about it was, if I could take one person's collection and completely integrate it into mine, whose collection would I take? So that's the way I thought about it. And when it came down to it, I picked Dan's collection, is the collection that I would like to take and integrate into mine. And I say that for a couple of reasons. With, I don't know, just picking any of the hundreds of people on here, Long Lost LP Man, Spellerine, I think, on and on and on, I can name a ton, New Wave Girl, and on and on. But a lot of us, like the people I just mentioned and a lot more, we tend to have a lot of the same things, a lot of the same classic rock type things, a lot of the same grunge things, and so forth. So that's why I thought about Dan's collection, because Dan tends to be a lot more new groups, new releases, the indie stuff, and kind of a little more far out on that edge, which is really where my collection is just starting to grow. So I've always felt that a mixture of his stuff with my collection would be just awesome. So if I took Long Lost LP's collection and mixed it into mine, or he took mine and mixed it into his, we'd have a ton of doubles of a lot of things. So that's kind of how I took that question, and I would pick Dan's. I might throw Derek in there too, but his collection is so far out there. I mean, he has so much stuff that I've never even heard of. I don't even know how to respond, to that. Matter of fact, right here, these are lists that I just keep on my computer of just all these things that he keeps mentioning, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta go check this group. I gotta go check this group out. So he's been introducing me to a ton of new music, which is awesome. But like I said, I would pick Dan's to integrate into my collection. Let's see. What's the next question? Question number 4. Pick an album that takes you back to a point in time, and what does it remind you of? There were a ton of them for me, but this is the one that I picked, Neil Young's Transistor. And the reason I picked this is because of the song Sample and Hold. One of my first memories dealing with music whatsoever, I was maybe 2nd or 3rd grade or something like that. And I'll never forget this. I'm living in projects back in Illinois, and so we didn't have money for anything. I wasn't buying, music, and my brother had one small tape recorder, and that was like the biggest thing in the world. But I remember we were watching this cable TV one night, and that live concert that he did in I think it was Germany, came on, and I saw him perform Sample and Hold, and I just remember sitting there in front of the TV just like with my jaw on the ground, because this, I wasn't exactly into rock music back then, but that whole voice box thing he did with the robot voice and the rhythm of that song, that just stuck with me just like forever. I mean, I've never forgot that moment. I've never forgot that song, even though up until just a few years ago I didn't even know, the words to the song or anything like that, but still, I had that rhythm, I had that riff, I had everything about that moment in my head. And it was just one of those things that really showed how much music could move me, especially at a young age. So, I'll never forget seeing that concert performance. So that's the album, I'll say, that kind of takes me back to that point in time, way back in my childhood. But question number 5, name an album you hated at first, but stuck with it and now you love it. And I can say this about the album, almost all of this guy's albums, the artist as a whole and everything else, it's Seal, without question. When I first really got introduced to him back in high school, I can vividly remember sitting on my couch and watching the video for Crazy and just going, what is this crap? There's no rhythm to it. He's not singing. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I remember actually saying that out loud. And now, this is one of my, honestly, my heroes in music. That this is my Prince, if you will, of soft rock. I guess, I don't know what label you want to put him in. But I mean, the guy's creativity, the emotions that he can bring up within music and everything else. I went from completely hating him and down-talking him to no end to pretty much worshiping him at this point in time as one of my favorite artists ever. So Seal is definitely one. And again, Crazy was the first song I was ever introduced to by him. Let's see. Question number 6. Name a band or performer you dislike but can't deny their importance to rock and roll music. I picked out 2, and it's really not one that I dislike because I don't have anything in my collection I actually dislike. But these are 2 that I had to really challenge myself to like any of their stuff, and I do like some, but still I feel they're very overrated, but I can't deny their importance to music as a whole. So with all those disclaimers being thrown in there, number 1 is Joni Mitchell. Again, as a songwriter, as what she did as a female artist and the time that she kind of came about, you cannot deny how powerful she has been to just the world of music in general, much less what she was doing in her time, if you will. But again, even as much ranting and raving that's revolved around this album, Blue, sometimes I do still have a hard time hearing the greatness in this album. I like it. I listen to it. I mean, I bought it, and I don't buy unless I like it. But I still don't quite hear the greatness on the level that this album is held up to. But again, you cannot deny her place in the music world, and I would not even begin to try to do that. Just because I don't get it doesn't mean it's not great. The second one I picked out for that question, because this kind of falls on the same lines, Little Anthony and the Imperials. What they meant to doo-wop, and they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the whole nine. You can't deny the impact that they had in the world of music. But again, when I listen to them, yes, there's some stuff that I like, and again, I bought the album, so obviously I do like it. But if you just ask me listening to this, sorry, records at the end there, I wouldn't necessarily say I hear Rock and Roll Hall of Fame material, but they did it, they're there, so you can't deny it. So those would be the two bands that I would say fit that one. Question number 7, the biggest misconception about vinyl. That's kind of tough. I think probably the biggest misconception out there is why people collect vinyl, and I think it's a misconception in the way that people don't truly understand that it's not just like a gimmick thing for us. It's not like everybody started to do it, so I'm going to collect vinyl because I want to be cool or pretend I'm cool. I think a lot of people that aren't into vinyl and into the vinyl world, that's kind of the attitude that they carry behind it. I remember, I can't remember his name on here, but it's a guy who's been posting some videos that keeps saying that his parents won't buy him a turntable because they keep saying it's obsolete and no one really uses that and blah blah blah. So I think that's probably the biggest misconception, is it's a fad and we're just doing it to be cool. People don't understand the connection with the cover art. People don't understand the connection with the physical motions that you go through in getting the music to you, and just how important all those steps are, how meaningful they are. I think that's probably the biggest misconception. Question number 8, and the final question. Show a LP that you never found a reason for showing. I couldn't think of a single one in my vinyl collection, because pretty much when a subject comes up in a thread or something new comes in, I show it. So I picked something that I thought might fit that description a little bit, and I would never think I'd find a reason to show this, which is my Michael Bolton cassette single of Time, Love, and Tenderness. I can't think of anything besides that question that would make me think to put this up in front of a camera. So that's what I'm going to default to, is a cassette single by Michael Bolton. So anyway, YouTubers, that's my quick response to Mr. Fartboy's questions. Hope you guys enjoy, and as always, leave comments, share with me, and look forward to hearing from you guys. Alright, take care.